now that we're breaking our program into multiple smaller programs by using functions, we have to be aware of how variables are used. And there's a concept called scope. Scope means that if a variable is in scope, it's an active use. So let's play a little bit with our greeting program. So we're going to say that we've got our program starting with main. And it's not a bad idea to just to drop down a few lines of code and go ahead and call it so you don't forget. If you forget, it won't run and you'll figure it out. But I'm sort of in this habit because I also do web programming and they have opening and closing tags. So you might want to do that. And inside our main method, we're going to create a variable. We're going to create a variable and we're going to call it name. And we'll have name equal to Charlie. And then we're going to have we're going to call a function and we'll have our greeting function. And in our function, we will have name equals to Sally. And we're going to print name in each. So here, I'm going to print name. Here, I'm going to print name. Oops, yeah, that's right. Okay, so let's talk about what actually happens here. Even though the variables have the same name, they are not the same variable. And the way you should think about this is if you had a computer and you had two different file folders. So we have a file folder, and just think of it this way. We've got a file folder named main. Okay? And we have another file folder named greeting. And inside main, we have our variable name. And in our greeting, we have name equals Sally. This is how you should think of the organization of your functions. Think of each function as a file folder. If you were on a computer and you had two separate homework files, let's say you had a homework file for literature and a homework file for history, and they both have an assignment 1. If you have assignment 1 saved in one folder for your English class and assignment 1 saved in your history class, they aren't the same file unless you copied them and made them be that. But having the same name, they're in different locations, so they're unique and separate. These memory locations are unique and separate, even though they have the same name. So if we print, we'll go through the logic. We're in main, name equals Charlie, that's fine. Greeting, okay, we're going down to greeting. We're in greeting, name equals Sally. This is not replacing Charlie, it's a new definition. So when we print name here, you can think of it as, if we were doing a file path, greeting / name. So what would print on screen here would be Sally. And then we come back because we return. And here we would print name. Well, name in main, we're thinking of it the same way. It would be think of it like your file path. It would be main / name. That's not really the way it works, but it gives you a good representation of our file structure, which is a good analogy. So when we printed this one, it would be Charlie. Making changes to this name variable does not make changes to this name variable. They are separate. This name is in scope if the logical control of the program is in the greeting function. This name is in scope when you are actively in the main function. There are ways to copy that into here, and we'll get into that in the next lecture.